back to the Social Media is Dead podcast. I'm JT Martin. I'm joined here by Christian Morrison,
Yep, you got it.
the founder of the Morrison company.
Yep.
At themorrison.co is,
Yep.
is his website.
Yep.
And he runs an agency, runs a social media agency,
Yep.
amongst a million other things that you do.
Sure,
but I
yeah.
found you through a really cool Instagram basically ad that you were running, telling home services and different like local businesses how to reach people organically and then use those videos to gain followers.
Totally. Yeah.
And I was just super impressed by the stuff that you're doing.
Oh,
and,
cool, man. Appreciate that. Yeah,
you're
yeah.
kind of one of the first guys in Omaha that I feel like is really taking to the local service businesses and being like, hey, let's blow you up on Reels over right now.
Yep.
Don't split your attention between TikTok, Shorts, everything. Like, just do Reels.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. That's what.
Yeah, no, that's just because honestly, like, just to give you a slap. First of all, thanks for the invite. Sweet, I'm pumped to be the second guest ever, right?
Second,
And
baby.
great name too, by the way. Social Media is Dead. What a great way to put it on social media. I love that shit. So that was awesome. I probably, just FYI, I cuss naturally a lot. Is that a problem?
Go for it. Nope.
Okay, just making sure. Because
Nope.
some people get mad at me about it. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, so just a slight 10-second background. I started doing social media marketing, content creation, whatever you want to call it, on my own for my own businesses first. And I did that like starting 2016 really is like when I started doing it, back when freaking everything was so easy, bro. God, it was so easy back then. I mean, you'd post like a shitty video of you walking on the street eating ice cream and you get like 1,000 followers, randomly. But I started out back then in actually probably the most competitive local space. Now that I've worked in a bunch of different spaces, the most competitive local space, which is real estate, residential real estate. So competitive. I think in Omaha, there's like 5,000 residential real estate agents. So super saturated per population. That's what I started out in. And my very first year, the average real estate agent sells 1 to 2 houses a year max. Okay. Which you're starving if you're doing that, or you have another income. You can't survive off that. After fees and everything, you probably make $5,000 a year, right? So it's nothing. My first year, and the way they teach you in real estate is like traditional methods: cold call, door knock, referrals, all that kind of traditional stuff, which is most service businesses, they tell you to do that. So I did that, but I was also really young. I was 21, and I also knew social media was important, so I was like, all right, I'll do the traditional stuff, but I'm also going to learn social media on the side. In my first year, I sold 13 houses, which is way better than the average agent, right? No, I wasn't really happy with it, to be honest with you, but sold 13 houses. 2 of them came from traditional. 11 came from social media. So I was like, screw traditional, bro. I'm doing all in on social media, right?
Cool.
So then since then, that's all I focused on. And I built that business to top 1% of real estate agents in the nation, purely from content and ads, nothing else.
Wow.
Yeah. And most of my ads that I did, and I've tested out so many things over the years, but through that, I had a ton of business owners that would ask me like, hey, can you show me how you're doing what you're doing? And can we do it in my business? And I would like, just do it. And then after a while, it was like, dude, I'm spending so much time helping these people. I'm going to charge them. Like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to charge them for sure. And I initially was like, I'll charge them. So they stop asking me. Because I figured if I say I'll charge, they're not going to pay me and they'll just move on. Yeah. And then all of them were like, yeah, absolutely. I'll pay you. I was like, okay, cool. So then that just kind of naturally flew into me starting an agency, basically.
Cool.
And specifically what's working right now, the reason you found me is I figured out like I'm always testing to find new things. Yep. Like I've spent at least 6 figures personally in the last 18 months just testing stuff personally.
Yep.
So of that testing, I found what's working right now. And I'm always finding new stuff that's working. But right now what's crushing in local businesses, especially service-based businesses, is Instagram organic mixed with ads. And now you can post the content on other platforms. Like you were saying, don't do TikTok. I'm like, yeah, post it for sure organically. But any ad dollars, the money you're going to put behind, purely throw it on Instagram until you hit a certain point. Like if you're doing $100,000, $200,000 a month in revenue, then add in some other platforms, right? Cool. But if you're like starting out, Instagram right now, and I'm honestly like, because I know how this stuff works, it's probably going to last another maybe 12 months max, how well it's working right now. So I'm pushing the hell out of it because I'm like, guys, if you want to do it, do it now. And I'm using it for my own business, so it works. It's crazy how well it works, actually.
That is so cool. Yeah. This whole show is about
social media being dead.
Well, social media being dead, but people who live in Omaha, who want to learn how to navigate this crazy social media world. Like it sounds like you've got a really good solution for a lot of local businesses who want to just get seen right now. And it's just so confusing. So to know, hey, I can go to Christian and we'll make a couple assets and then we'll we'll put some money behind one of them, and it'll just go. And it's not this like
complex
decade-long thing. And it sounds like a great solution.
Yeah. Well, there's like you're in marketing. There's like two solutions that most businesses get offered, and it drives me nuts. There's like one that's like paid ad route. You do paid ads, and to do paid ads the traditional way, you have what? Like you see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, you click on it, you have to give them your name, phone number, email. That goes in. From there, you have a call team that calls the lead. Call the lead, try to convert them. You have this big database you have to deal with. Those people don't want to talk to you when you get leads that way. I don't know about you, but anytime I see an ad like that, I don't fill out that stuff anymore. But even when you do, you're like, God, I don't want someone to call me, dude. You don't want to deal with these people. And that's how people feel. They don't want you to deal with them, talk to them. And I actually do a lot of advertising like that for some of my bigger clients. But we have call teams that call their leads. And not everybody can afford to have a call team calling your leads, plus ad spend, plus marketing companies will brag about a 2 to 3x ROAS, which ROAS just means return on ad spend, right? So they're running Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, whatever, and they're like, we're getting our consistent 2x. I'm like, okay, so if you spend, let's say you're a roofer, your average job is $8,000. Well, it costs you probably at least $4,000 in cost, material, labor, all that stuff. So you have $4,000 margin, which is really good, right? But if you're getting a 2x ROAS, that means it's costing you $4,000 to get an $8,000 job, AKA you're losing money every single time you get a deal. So for most people, it's not worth it. If you're at scale and you're just trying to beat competition, maybe. But that's one avenue. Is like go this route, do the paid route, which is not very profitable, extremely complex operationally. And then there's the other route, which you were just talking about, which is branding. And people are like, all right, let's spend $5,000 a month for 10 years, and we're gonna get your brand out there. And we're like, a business was like, shit, cool. I want to grow my brand, but I have to make money, dude. We're in a business to make money. We're not in a business for, some people maybe are in it for philanthropy or charity or whatever, but most people, if they're being honest and they're not trying to be showy or whatever, they're trying to make money. Right? So that's all I've ever cared about. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about looking cool. I don't care about using the fanciest tools. What can I do today that will make me money tomorrow? And that's all I focus on. So I'm like, what's the simplest route? If it has to be complex, cool. But most of the time, the simplest routes that are underused are the highest profitable. So that's the only thing I focus on instead of the other two. But the cool part about Instagram is you do the way we're doing it right now is you kind of get best of both worlds because we're making money right away and long term. But if you just use Instagram the way we're doing it, it's also growing your brand a ton. Like I've been doing it for myself since February, like beginning of February. And beginning of February till now, I've gained like 2,000 followers of just business owners in Omaha. Which is crazy. And I haven't spent that much money on it compared to like what most people would do. And we've done a ton of revenue from that. So you can kind of do both right now. It won't last forever. There's always be something else. But I really like that aspect of growing the brand and generating revenue immediately. You know what I mean? Not just in 10 years. So.
No, I love that. And my business is I'm like slogging out organic social.
It's so hard, dude.
So hard.
It's so
and
hard.
Like I've yet to have a client that I haven't been able to make a reel pop off for. So like I've been able to go viral for everyone. And so like yes, like I kind of have that touch, but like again, proving ROAS, like you're right. There's
organic's very tough unless you have a viral video and they just get influx customers right away. Right. Yeah. Then it's like, oh yeah, it's easy. But the slug out part is hard.
It's so man, it's such a grind. But also like there's no agencies that will do organic social, so I can basically work with whoever I want because like it's such a tough channel, And sometimes I'm like, why did I pick this channel? But one thing I want to ask you about your channel is when you get someone, I guess I kind of want to talk about the mechanics of how you bring these followers in, because something that you talked about is like, hey, you bring in followers, like because you don't have a call to action in that asset that you're pushing. You're just trying to get followers, and then you DM them once they follow. Like, how does that convert versus like filling out a lead form? Like,
God, it's interesting because for almost a decade I was the lead form guy. Fill out the lead forms, call the teams, and I got really good at that. So one thing that I probably don't even talk about very much that is one of the key elements to making this work is I'm really good at sales. So I'm really good at training sales too. So like I'll get them. I also train the people how to close people and how to get them in the door because you can get all the influx of leads you get, but if you can't close them, it's worthless basically.
Gotcha.
So that is one side of it that you have to learn, but it's not that complicated once you know how to do it. But basically, kind of a couple different ways. 2 of them I expected. The other 2 I didn't at all on how this works. So the first 2 are when you get followers, you DM them, right? I'm getting, on average of everybody, we're getting about 25 to 35% of their customers are coming from that.
Cool.
So it's an element. I like the other element because you can control it very easily. If you can either DM or you're not. Some of my clients do, some of them don't, honestly. If they don't, they get worse results, still get results. But if they do, they get crazy good results.
Cool.
So DM them, simple script, and it's not salesy at all. Very conversational. It needs to feel organic, which it is. You're trying to make it feel organic. And if they're not looking to buy from you, it's still a warm-up for that client because a lot of times people are shopping 3 to 6 months before they're buying.
Cool.
Right? Yep. So you can still warm them up in the DMs and talk to them over time, and they already have an open communication channel with you.
Yeah.
And
which
it's
is
way
money.
less.
That's
totally, yeah.
gold.
And it's way less invasive than a phone call or text.
Yeah.
It's on their Instagram. Whatever.
Cool.
It doesn't feel invasive, you know?
Yeah.
It actually, like, if I've never followed a brand and they messaged me before. Have you? Well, you do because you're a creator. That's different.
Yeah,
that's
good
different.
question.
But like on a your personal account, you follow some business in Omaha, they're not going to message you.
Not typically, no.
And when they do, it's kind of like, oh, cool. Oh, what's up? You know what I mean?
Right.
Thanks for messaging.
You.
Yeah. And we don't like message them like, hey, do you want to buy this? It's just like, hey, what's up? Do you live in Omaha? You know, very conversational.
Cool.
That's one way. The bio has to be set up a certain way. There's kind of a formula to it.
Yep.
You need to say what you do, what problem you solve. You need to have a way they can DM you a word. Like mine is local. If you DM me local, I'll have 2 to 3 to 4 people a week that DM me that word.
Yeah.
All my clients will have a few here or there that DM that word. So you'll get some that DM you that don't follow you. So they don't follow you, but they DM you, which is fine. And then you'll have a link to a very simple calendar page if you do appointments, or a simple sales page if you sell stuff. Like I work with a local pickleball company. Shout out Alpha Omega Pickleball. Awesome. Started a company at 17 here in Omaha. Makes pickleball paddles. He's sick. He's awesome. We did the strategy with him. He had the best sales he's ever had on his page since we started doing it. He went from like basically no organic sales on his website to I think he said he sold 30 paddles in like the last week, something crazy like that, which is really good for like a startup paddle company. But him, we just had a simple sales page. So they need a way to go to your website from your bio as well. So they could DM you, you can message them, or they can go to your website or book a call. But where people mess up is they have like a link tree stuff where they have like 7 different ways you can contact them. Just one way I found is the best. One way directly to contact. And then because the way we're doing it, you're getting so many views, like just pure views on the video, pure people seeing it, you get a ton of Google searches for your name.
Cool.
So SEO and the way that works, one of the best ways to help SEO ranking is people Googling your name directly versus all the other stuff you can do, which is the hardest one to get. People Googling your name. So some of my clients, like half of their clients are coming from people Googling them, going to their website and either calling them or submitting a form on their website after seeing them on Instagram. That one I didn't expect. And then I also didn't expect a bunch of walk-ins and phone calls. So walk-ins and phone calls and then people Googling are like some of my clients half the results.
Whoa.
Which is so interesting to me.
Whoa.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But it's just pure. It kind of makes sense though. Like my wife was saying, she was like, yeah, every time I see somebody on Instagram and I want to get it done, I look them up first on Google. And I'm like, I don't do that. Maybe I should, but it makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
It really does.
And do you find that through like a post-purchase survey then? Like where they first learned about?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to track when they're not getting any Google traffic.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's really how
if it goes from 0 to 10.
It's exactly what it is. Like I have a client who's a chiropractor, and he was like, "Yeah, I've just had 6 people this month so far from Google." And this is like the first thing that triggered in my mind that, and I go, "How many were you getting before?" "Oh, well, we've never had anybody from Google before." And then so I went and looked at their analytics, and I was like, "Yeah, they're all coming from the Instagram ad."
Cool.
Because for years you've never got 1, and then all of a sudden the day we started you get 6.
Yeah.
So that's what sparked it in my mind. I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So then I just started to look at all my clients, and sure enough, everybody was the same.
Yeah.
Google traffic spiked. Cool. People were coming in from there, and they just thought it was randomly Google. They thought their page just magically started working, you know?
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we figured it out.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You have really studied this yourself and kind of like learned by trial and error.
By doing it.
Yeah. Was there any other way that you were able to like learn all this? Like, have you taken any of these like courses where, you know, someone teaches you how to like run this type of agency, or how would you recommend if someone wants to get into this? How should they do it?
Okay. Well, I've definitely done a lot of learning, a lot of reading, I've probably spent at least like $50,000 on like courses and mentors and stuff like that. But to be straight up with you, all that stuff is good. It taught me random skills here and there. Sometimes it made me pivot away from what they were doing in a weird way. But I would say overall, I've learned best just by doing stuff. There's actually super under the radar guy called Nick Peterson. probably the most badass business dude I've ever seen in my life. Very under the radar, super baller. He works with like the biggest companies in the world, and you've never heard of him. Like he's like built a lot of Lance Armstrong's companies with him and stuff. Anyways, I found this little group that I could get in with him before I even knew who he was. And a lot of his content helped me with like, it's more like general business understanding and knowledge on a very deep level. But one of the things I love that I took away from him was intelligence is learning, and learning is only possible through doing. So I think of that all the time. I know it sounds basic, but like the way he described it was much more articulate than me. But if intelligence is learning, and the only way to learn is by doing, then the only way you get more intelligent is by doing more things. That's kind of what I took away from it. I was like, okay, we all want to be more intelligent. So how do I be more intelligent? I will do more. So I'm very much like, I will do anything I need to do, and I will test it all. And also I move very fast on stuff. Cool. So one of my favorite things that I truly believe as a business person and as a person in general is success loves speed. The faster you're willing to test, implement, get things going, the better you will do. 100%. Cool. Which is like one of the things in my company too. Like most clients, we have a crazy turnaround time. Sometimes operational, it's so hard to do. But like if I get a client today, most of the time it's 24-hour turnaround before we have the whole thing up and running.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
We'll have their videos filmed, edited, posted, ads started in 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And I wanted to do that. And sometimes I have to be limited on the amount of people we bring in because of that. But I believe that's really important because like if you go to like most videographers or whatever, they'll be like, yeah, okay, we got it for you. We'll get it back to you in a week. You're like, what, dude? It kind of loses its spark and like excitement from people in a week. And a lot of things change in a week. Right? Yeah. So I like to do it, get it done quick. That way people can see how well it's working very fast. Cool. And it's just more exciting to get stuff going fast and the ball gets moving faster and everything like that. Totally. So to answer your question, yes and no. I've done a lot of learning. I still learn all the time. YouTube, obviously, that kind of stuff. I'm in a couple of different like mastermind groups, but the majority of stuff that's actually worked for me that has got me results has been like intuition. This is random. I kind of want to go into this, but intuition and doing, right? Yeah. But you do got to learn principles from people that are much wiser and further along than you. So I've learned most of my business principles from like decade-old or 2-decade-old business books that I've read. Cool. Or this Nick Peterson guy or whatever, some like personal in-person mentors. But dude, I actually this makes me think of this. Intuition is more important, I think, than almost anything. So what I mean by that is you got to do what's working and you have to go with your intuition. Like there's this guy on Joe Rogan recently, which I really never listen to Joe Rogan podcasts. I used to a lot. Now I really don't. I don't have much time these days, but I listened to one randomly about this guy. God, I can't think of his freaking name, but he was just on. He talked about like he used to work in the CIA and do remote viewing. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what remote viewing is.
Okay,
I don't know who this is.
Remote viewing and then like aliens, they talked about that, right?
Okay, gotcha.
But remote viewing is the idea of you could write a bunch of stuff on this paper and you make me sit here, you drive an hour away, you drop it off randomly in the park, let's say, and then you tell me to figure out where you dropped it off and what you wrote on the paper. And people can figure that out in their brain. And just it's called remotely viewing something else, right? It's always been like a theory, maybe so. This guy just like laid it out there that all of it's true. The CIA does that. They do it all. It's a true thing. And randomly through that podcast, I was like, he was talking about how everybody has some capability to do it, but there's like outliers, whatever, that they use. But he said, this is why most people should trust their intuition. Because most of the time you do know inside what to do, what not to do, and what you should be doing. But the reason you're not doing it is because your analytical mind's taking over. So most people know they should be doing social media, right? Like it's an intuition thing. Like you should probably trust your intuition on that, and not go buy another course on how to do it. You should probably just start implementing, right? Yeah. And some people are too busy to implement. Like most of my clients, either too busy to implement, or they don't want to go do the trial and error. Right. Like I spent 6 figures testing to figure this out. Most people don't have a year and a half plus 6 figures to figure it out. So they'll hire people like me or whatever to do it, get their jump start way quicker. And get them started. Plus some people are non-starters. Like they have so much going on. They're like, I want to do social media, but just the jump to start is so much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that accountability that they want from you and all that.
And like for me, if I can get everything done in 24 hours, even if they know how to edit, they know how to film, find a videographer, their best case is they have it up and running in a month or two. So a lot of times it'll just be speed too, like just the speed to get it done.
Yeah, it's like in season for hail damage or something. And roof companies, they need to get up and running.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that makes sense.
Exactly.
And your thought about intuition, like I feel like that's something that I end up talking to clients all the time, and I kind of refer to it as like social listening. Like if you're a good social listener, that it's kind of the same thing as intuition. And I think it only comes through like life experience. I think you have to have a lot of life experience. You have to have
That's true.
like a ton of empathy. You have to like know what other people feel and how to like communicate that through social media, because some people, I swear, just whatever that social media thing is that you have, like you clearly have like the touch for social media, and you can see it and you've got that intuition, you know it. Some people don't have that sauce, you know?
Yeah, true.
And so it seems like one of the most valuable thing today. And I don't know if you can train social listening because, and a lot of organizations, they think, well, we'll take the youngest person in our organization and we'll put them on this because that's what it is. But like, I think life experience is one of the most important things that goes into social listening, to be able to connect the dots between trends and stuff. And I'm mostly talking about like these like viral videos that I make, you know, my tourism content. It's very kind of like,
awesome, by the way, dude.
Thank you, man.
I love that page.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Yeah. It's like, it's aspirational, I think is what I would call it, you know? So like we end up using a lot of, you know, just kind of like trendy stuff. And like the things that you mentioned about how like you're here to make money, you know, like we kind of follow two different sets of like.
It's totally different. Yeah. There's like media and then there's business. Right. I've never focused on building like a large audience. Maybe I could, maybe I couldn't, I don't know. But like my goal has always been, how do I go deep, narrow? What is my target audience? Get as many of those people to follow me as possible or to engage with me as possible, turn them into those clients. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my brother, on the other hand, my younger brother has like around 7 million followers, and they're more mass market.
Cool.
So he's totally different mindset to me of like go mass market, and both work. They're different. I actually think, personally, I think mass market's harder. Like what you do is harder to me. For me, it'd be way harder.
I think that like there's probably like two different formats.
It's probably two different parts of your brain too. Yeah, honestly.
Totally. Because everyone that's doing the things that I do, and I don't know if your brother's in the same boat, but a lot of creators that do my type of work, they really struggle with monetization. Like, okay, we have this audience. What do we do with them now? You know, you're
it's
so
not like
dialed
salesy
in.
and stuff, right?
Yeah. You know, so I mean, I've been able to, you know, live off of what I do. And like a lot of the work that I do is kind of like a business development tool for my agency work, to where I can like help you do your own organic social. So like I couldn't really say
proof.
Right, exactly.
Proof,
yeah. I don't know if I could say that I'm like, you know, living off of my one social media account now, you know, like
but in a way it helps support the other one.
Right. Yeah. And like, you know, who knows what else it'll, you know, like I'm talking to you today because of social media too. So, you know, there's all kinds of effects that it has on your life, but
and you messaged me from that page, which is smart, because it shows all the social proof, like you have 100,000+ followers there, so people are more likely to listen and to respond to you.
Totally.
So, it's smart.
Can't really think of any other ways to use it. Like maybe I can get like tickets to
something. Bro, you could easily. Where's your demographics?
Mostly Lincoln, Omaha, Kearney, Grand Island.
So one thing you could easily do if you ever wanted to, you could retarget. So part of my strategy is, it's kind of like a 3-month rollout, but the end all be all of my strategy is not just to grow the page, because like of all the followers you get, you'll have 10 to 20 times more people that we can retarget. That have either visited your profile or watched. We do a couple metrics to make sure they're actually like engaged and want to know about you, but they may not follow you. And you can retarget them for like $3 to $5 a day and get a ton of people in the door after you built that up for a little bit. So retargeting is a big part of it. You have a massive retargeting list. And a lot of those are probably business owners and people that want to collaborate. So you can just run a retargeting ad to a really cheap retargeting ad to those, and just say, hey, if you're a business owner that wants to grow your socials, boom. You know what I mean? That's what I would do.
Good idea.
I wouldn't even put it on your organic, because it would hurt you. I would just do it as an ad, retargeting. That's it.
You know, that is really smart. I've literally not put $1 behind that account. Almost because I'm afraid to like mix, like once I put the money in, you know, everyone says, oh, they're going to like throttle your views once they see that you're willing to spend.
I don't think so. I don't think it's true.
I don't believe in that either, but I just haven't. But that's a really good idea. Use that audience.
You could even just use your stories. You'd be like, hey, are you a business owner in the area? Just say, poll yes or no. And if they are, how are you trying to grow on social media this year? Yes or no? And the ones that hit yes twice, just message them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, good point.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I'm basically like maxed out on organic social clients. Like I basically can't take on anyone else because organic social is such a beast.
It is.
And I have to have my fingerprints.
Team.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean,
it's hard to do.
I do have a team, but like I kind of have to have my fingerprints all over
it.
Yeah,
but the mental part, you can't outsource that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the copywriting and a lot of the like just stuff that I do like kind of has to come from me, you know, because that's what the client's paying for.
Totally.
And like my next step for me, I mean, I love the way that you scale. I'd love to hear about how your team is structured too, but like I need to figure out, okay, how do you, train other people to kind of fill those holes?
Well, it's tough to do because I'm still on majority of it. Like same thing. I have to be mentally there. But if all I'm dealing with is like the scripting and the strategy, I can handle a lot personally.
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing the filming, the editing, and honestly the posting too takes a while just to go through all the accounts and post it, schedule it, you know?
Yeah.
That's all the stuff you should outsource. Because if you do the mental work, which is probably what you like doing anyways.
Yeah.
You could scale pretty high. How many clients do you have right now?
Just 3. Yeah.
And you max out at 3?
Basically, yeah.
How much do you do for them though? Like how many?
I basically do like 3 assets a week per client.
Okay, so you have to produce 9 videos a week right now. You could scale that, dude.
Yeah.
You can scale. You have nobody on your team. I'm guessing it's all you.
No, I have a like an admin who helps me with copywriting. I have an editor, and I have like I have another videographer that I bring on projects sometimes if I need it, and then I've got like a finance guy that helps me occasionally.
Dude, you could scale up with that team.
I know. It's just hard, man. You know,
what is hard? What's hard? What's stopping you?
You want to give every client like just like all of your energy and creativity, you know, and it feels like to really like catch that lightning in a bottle, like to go viral, you have to do something that's never been done before.
Right.
Like that's like the definition of going viral. Sure. And so I'm always chasing that for all my clients. So like every time, like every quarter, it's like, we got to take it a step up this quarter, you know. It really is a matter of, I just don't think that organic social is outsourceable anymore. Like, and I mean, my retainers for these clients are way bigger than any organic social retainer that you would have seen in the 2010s, right? Because it's just so different now. Like I'm running an entire media company for these clients, basically, like an in-house media company, basically.
Dude, I feel like if you just figured out how to sit down one day a week, maybe 3 to 4 hours, probably in like 1.5 chunks.
Yeah.
Take the projects they're on, plan out their next month of videos for each client.
Yep.
You'd be able to handle way more than that.
Yeah.
If that's all you did. I think you're probably
good point.
Overthinking it with
definitely.
Them, you know what I mean? Like their content. You already know what to do.
Right.
And eventually it's gonna work. So you need to do what you know is gonna work, not overthink it. Plan the videos out and let it ride.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I like
That's
that.
just really what you have to do. It's probably gonna have better results because you're not gonna be too stressed about it.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get more clients, bring on more clients. If not, just focus on the 3. The only problem with 3 is if you lose one, it's probably a big chunk of your income.
Sure, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I'm really bending over backwards for
right, because then you're like you're doing stuff you wouldn't normally do just because you want to keep them and keep them happy.
Exactly.
So I feel that I would definitely try to get up above 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think you could do at your current model pretty easily.
Sure.
If you're only doing 3 videos a week only, I know it's a lot, but 3 videos a week times 10, you got to get 30 videos a week out. You may have to get one more editor. Filming, obviously, just knock out all the videos in like 1 or 2 sessions per month. That's what we do too.
Right.
Because we have a couple that we do a lot of organic stuff for, and we just do that in 1 or 2 filmings max per month. Because it's tough if you don't. It's tough for them, tough for you.
Right. You
have to knock it out. But yeah, you do have to. The hardest part is prepping and planning the videos ahead of time.
But
if you want to make it bigger, if you want to keep it how it is. Keep doing what you're doing and just crush it for the 3.
I mean, everyone's told me that scaling is like the worst decision that they've made. You know, like, oh, I wish I would have kept my agency at 1 person, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, like...
Well, I would say you maxed out the people. What you have right now is super manageable?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a lot, but...
Yeah. You know. But it's not like stressing you out to the max.
I'm not like at my utter wit's end.
Yeah, maybe just keep the 3 and just make it dialed in as possible, and then add in some kind of metrics that you hit that you get some kind of bonus on.
Yep.
To make it worth it to put so much time behind everything.
Yeah.
You know what I
Good
mean?
point.
Not like immediately. You'd have to like roll them into that.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you know, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
and moving forward, if we hit this metric, let's say it's 100,000 views on a video, we get a $1,500 bonus. I don't know.
That's a good
Some
point.
kind of way to really like make the clients worth more.
Yeah.
And everybody's values be aligned.
That's a good point.
You know what
That's
I mean?
a really good point.
If you want to just keep it at 3. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The only problem is if you lose one. And then as long as you have some kind of way to get another one, then it's fine to keep it at 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like with the Corn Belt, like you said, like I could basically just DM anybody and like be their organic social agency. So
you kind of have it sitting there.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with staying where you're at.
Bad.
I agree that there's you don't have to scale. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
That's more of an ego thing.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it'd be cool to have all this whole team and everything, but who knows?
No, my team is like the same size as yours, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
I have 2 editors. I have all my videographers are outsourced, so none of them are in house because I rotate between some. I'm actually thinking about bringing on one full time and thinking about it, but I actually do some of the videos myself because sometimes videographers don't show up or whatever. So I have all the equipment with me at all times just in case. So I know how to do it all too. And then other than that, I have one guy who helps me with all my project management and like organization of everything. He's kind of like my chief operations officer, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the ideas, the strategy, client meetings, all that stuff I do myself.
Cool.
But I like doing it all. And I like working. So
Yeah.
I love working.
Cool.
Weirdly. Yeah.
What do you like to shoot on?
Like what camera?
Yeah.
iPhone 14. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No.
Well, I noticed from your videos that you don't shoot on iPhone.
No,
and that's something that stood out to me.
Yeah,
no, I because I think that the iPhone aesthetic works for a lot of people, but I felt you had some authority with the local home service folks because that's kind of what they want to see.
Like my camera itself is a Canon EOS M50. It's like a $1,000 camera, super simple.
Cool.
You don't need anything more than that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, my videographers, a lot of them have like cinematic cameras and stuff.
Cool.
But we have to lower the quality to even post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you can't post 4K or whatever. You know what I mean? 1080p is the highest.
Cool.
So I actually don't think it matters. I think you could do it on a phone. I think it's irrelevant in a way, but operationally, it's much harder to shoot on a phone. Because then from a phone, you have to get it into a Drive or Dropbox. From that, into the editing software. Us, us, we just pull out the card, put it in, upload it immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
good point.
Simpler. Yeah, so I actually think you could use a phone. I don't think it matters.
Cool.
Honestly.
Cool.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But some people say that phones get better views.
Yeah,
you heard that before?
Yeah, totally.
You shoot on a phone and gets better views.
I'm very superstitious about.
Do you think it's true?
I've heard that having the mobile ID from the phone match the mobile ID that the app is installed on will give you boosts. And I'm just.
Have you found it to be true?
Who knows?
Yeah. See, I don't think it's true, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's like 100 geniuses that run all these platforms.
Yeah.
Right? So they could get that dialed in, but I just don't see why it would matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When people come at me with this superstitious stuff, which I'm
kind of
the same way too.
Yeah.
But when people come at me with something that's just crazy, I just say like, and I tell myself like, good content is gonna go viral if it's good.
So
and every
true,
time that
it's
I've ever posted anything,
yeah.
if like your stuff like moves people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your account has 0 followers, it'll still blow up. You know, like I've done over 100 million views now from scratch. Like I've never hopped on a client's account and growed it. Like it's all from scratch. Like you can do it. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And all on a phone.
All on a phone. Have I shot on it? I mean, I have like a Canon R8 or something that I barely ever use. I like bought it from Rockbrook and I have used it like a couple times. I've used that a couple times for a client, but
okay. So let's say are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
We're golden.
Let's say you're me.
Yeah,
growing an agency. Because to be honest with you, my focus right now is ads are dialed in. Yeah, exactly what to do on all of that for my own business, for my clients. My next realm, for multiple reasons, is something I've never done. Is gone viral on a big level organically. Cool. I have on YouTube actually. Right. YouTube I know how to do. I've done like 7 figures off of YouTube organically in revenue. So YouTube I do know how to do organically, but the short form, and okay, I take that back because I did grow 20,000 followers on TikTok, but that was when it was pretty easy to grow on TikTok. Like I got like 10 million views, somewhere in that range on TikTok. So I've done it before. But not in like the modern era have I gone viral. So now I'm working on, I was telling you before this, I have like 30 trial reels going right now and I'm posting on TikTok to test out stuff. What would you do if you were me or in like a local business, say a local business owner, to grow organically? Like what would be your process?
Yeah. So the thing I tell everybody, there's a 3-step process. And the first thing is you need Well, first you need to pick your interest category, right? People think that social media is about looking cool. And if you're cool, then people will follow you. That's what people have thought about social media all the time. But it's all about like picking an interest category. And the way that I do that is I go on Reddit because each subreddit is a perfectly packaged interest category. And if that subreddit has over 50,000 subscribers, that's so you know that it has enough volume to actually like create a viral account. And there's enough interest in that category.
How many did you say?
50,000. That's what I like to shoot for. You know, there's some fringe subreddits that don't have that. But the second part is content arbitrage. And people think that they have to reinvent the wheel and make new content every day. But if you go to Reddit, the content on the top of the feed every day, within the subreddit, within your interest category, is going to be the perfect thing to post, right? So you can just cherry pick all of your hooks right off of Reddit because
I've never used Reddit one day in my life.
Dude,
isn't that crazy?
Reddit has taught me everything I know because people think that TikTok is the next iteration of Instagram. It's really the next iteration of Reddit. It's video Reddit and short form video. All the principles of Reddit, which Reddit, it's like mainly anonymous. Like, right. It's not really about reputation.
I've always looked at Reddit as like a little cringy or something. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. It's scrappy and it's all just education, entertainment, or inspiration, and it's vetted hard for that. People don't care about popularity. You know, like the millennial like Facebook thing of like who's popular, who's this, who's that. Like none of that matters, and it's just about like are you delivering value every single day, and that's it. And like there's gonna be a like a mass extinction of brands in the next 2 years that don't pick an interest category and just hammer those keywords to gain authority in that interest category because people don't want to see your brand. People don't care about how cool you are. Like people are still trying to like make social media just about how cool I am. And I think that all these little like kind of like kitschy trends that people try to jump on because they think that's the way to grow organically. I think that's just going to go away, and all that's going to be left are the people who's actually giving value. So the third thing is like social listening and just, you know, being like really dialed in on like what's trendy, how to tell those stories. But pick an interest category, content arbitrage from Twitter or Reddit, and then social listening.
You ever thought about just consulting people?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. We'll see.
Consulting might be a good one too. I'm just thinking of scaling. I was going back to that in my mind.
Basically, everybody in Nebraska like have like RFPs out to me right now, like trying to get me to help them out, and I'm just like, you know, trying to get.
You only want to manage what you want to manage too. It's also something to be said of being in control of your own stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So like, I probably wouldn't consult, to be honest with you. I'd rather just do it in house. So because it kind of keeps I don't want to say like the secret sauce because I shared all on my Instagram and stuff, but it does kind of keep it like you hold in a little bit. You know what I mean? That's
why I'm okay with sharing this stuff because people think like, oh, now I know JT's secret, I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah, but it's different to do it than it is to learn it. You know?
Like if you don't
not intelligent to learn, it's only intelligent to do, right?
If you don't have that sauce that we were talking about, that intuition, like you're not gonna be able to like find the right subreddit, like pick the right posts that are gonna hit, like be consistent enough, like find the format to like repurpose that content in because you've been watching these trends. You know, like I'll follow a trend and then I'll put my own spin on it and I'll make it like my own thing. So I'll like take a trend and then I'll like one up it, and that's where you get like, you know, like one of my marketing heroes, Neil Patel. He liked one of my posts because I took a mega American trend and I used his audio and I did his trend, which is where like you like emote, you like show an expression on camera and then you show like a beautiful landscape or something like that. Well, I like saw a tornado, and so I like did the mega American with the sound, and then I like showed a natural disaster, and Neil Patel was like, oh my God, like you took that trend and you like flipped it on its head and you like took it one step further. So that's
versus everybody else just does the exact same trend, the exact same way.
Exactly,
it makes
like
me hurt on the inside. I hate that stuff so much.
It
crushes me. I hate that stuff.
But it's the people that take it one more step, and that's who really breaks through. It's like, oh my gosh, you took this trend and you flipped it. That's awesome.
Right.
So.
No, I totally agree, man. What do you do? What's the reason for you to do the podcast?
Just kind of, get my thoughts out of my head, you know?
Totally.
And get to meet cool people, get to learn from you, dude. I saw your stuff. I haven't seen anybody in the Omaha, Nebraska area doing this. I worked in media for a decade in San Francisco and New York. And so
really?
like, wow. I'm really super passionate about media, and I've like just studied this stuff, and I'm like, how can I get out of my agency bubble and like come out and be around people?
I think it's smart, dude. I think it's smart. I like it. And it's so much, it's a much easier way to meet people rather than be like, you want to get coffee?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, like I hate that stuff. Yeah, but everybody's like, yeah, sure, I'll be in a podcast for sure. Let's do it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it puts a little pressure on you to like come up with good questions and like, you know, like put your thoughts into action.
So I have had 2 podcasts in the past. The hardest thing is when you get somebody who won't talk. I'm easy because I'll just fucking, I don't shut up. You know? Yeah. But there's people that you have to like pull the questions out of, and you're like, yeah. So what do you think about this? And you're like dying on the inside, you know? Yeah. There's a lot of that. So that's the hardest part of podcasts. Other than that, meeting, it's the easiest way to meet people ever. Dude, that are like in business and doing stuff online, you know? So.
It's awesome. And like, I have this gift. I'm not sure why I have this gift, because I've, you know, not been successful in many areas of business before, but like I kind of have this moment where I like really understand this channel. And so I kind of want to like give it away. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is like my, you know, thing to give back. Totally. So
that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me on, man.
Thanks,
man. We're at 45 minutes, so.
Yeah. That was
wrap
perfect.
It up, right?
Thanks for coming
on.
Man.
I'm honored to be the second guest.
Yeah,
let's run it back in like a year.
Yeah.
Once this has like 100,000 subscribers on it, right?
Amen. Yeah. Thanks, man.